Hey everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. If you're new here, my name's Anthony. I'm a business profit advocate. Here we interview entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals, and people just doing cool things. For example, today we're talking with Nick Elliott. He's also known as the Wine Guy. He's a classically trained chef and sommelier, wine educator, and he elevates wine knowledge for restaurants, groups, and individuals. How you doing today, Nick?
I'm doing great, Anthony. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. I know nothing about wine, so hearing you talk about it was really interesting. And anybody that's passionate about what they do, it's really awesome to kind of dig down and see what that looks like. So, where are you calling in from?
San Diego, California.
San Diego. Okay, awesome. You lifer there, or you newer to the area?
No, I was born and raised on the East Coast in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and moved to California, more Central California, about 20 years ago, 2004, and moved to San Diego about 5 years ago. So definitely loving the California life, the California vibe, and there's a lot of great wine around here, so it's a great place for me.
Yeah, I've heard they have pretty good wine. I know nothing about it, but I've heard. So, what's outside of wine? What's your favorite thing to do out there? If somebody was coming to visit that's never been there before, what are you doing?
Well, down here in San Diego specifically, from where I live, which is on the east side of the city, and it's a very large city, I can be at the beach, I can be in the mountains, and I can be at the desert all within an hour and a half of where I am. So if you're an outdoorsy type of person, San Diego is an amazing, amazing place to be. I would say for me, the food is number one. The food scene in San Diego is absolutely amazing. And being a chef, I love to hop around, meet the chefs, and test out their latest creations and all of the wonderful thing, all of the new restaurants that just happen to pop up as well. So those are my favorite things to do in town.
What kind of new restaurant's going to draw your attention first? Like certain styles or cuisines that you go, if it opens, that's where you're going right away.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't discriminate when it comes to cuisine. I'm really all over the map. There are things that I don't eat, but I love pretty much everything, and I love interesting cuisine. So, an Ethiopian restaurant opened just recently in town, so I made it a point to go there. My wife and I love to visit all of the French restaurants that open and the Italian restaurants that open, of course. There's a lot of Italian in San Diego. As a matter of fact, we have a whole street dedicated to Italian food in San Diego.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, no, that all sounds great. I'm a big fan. I'm not a classically trained chef, but I play one at home.
Oh,
So
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So anyway, so what can you tell us about being the wine guy? What do you do?
So, the wine guy business I started about 4 years ago, and coming out of my life in hospitality, running restaurants and hotels, and also making wine for many years up in Central California. Um, I really, really wanted to stay in the wine business when we moved down here, and there's not a ton of opportunity for that, so I decided to do my own thing. So what the wine guy is, I sell wine both retail and wholesale, so direct to consumer, so I can ship wine to your house, or if you happen to own a restaurant or a wine bar or any place that retail sells wine, I can supply you wines at wholesale rates. Something I got into most recently and that I'm really, really excited about is doing wine tourism and travel. And basically, what that breaks down to is I work with travel agents to put together itineraries for folks who love to travel and drink wine. So, for example, I'm putting together a trip to Northern Europe. Right now, with a travel agent, where we're going to sail the Rhine River in Germany and France and Luxembourg and Netherlands and so on, and drink wine and learn about wine. And that's going to be a really, really fun trip. I'm putting some things together in the Eastern Bloc in Europe. I'm putting some things together here in California. I want to go down to Valle de Guadalupe in Mexico because it's an hour from me in San Diego. So it's a great place to host tours and teach about wine. And that's what I'm most excited about right now.
That's awesome. That is actually really, really cool. How, what got you into wine at first? Like, have you always liked it? Was it an acquired taste? What does that look like?
Well, in my teens, it was always Mad Dog 2020, if you can call that wine. But no, seriously, when I was in school, I was introduced to wine, real wine, not Mad Dog 2020, and I really fell in love with the beverage. I fell in love with how it's made, its complexity, all of the wonderful places it comes from, which also, expanded um, my thirst, my hunger for travel as well. So I mainly travel for the wine industry. So going to Europe, going to South America, going to South Africa, Australia, things like that. These are all places that I love to visit, not only for the culture and the people, but mainly for the wine. So that's how it all started for me. And then after I moved to California, that's really when things started to explode for me in the wine business. I owned a restaurant. My family owned a restaurant. We own a winery up in Monterey County. So that is where I was on the winemaking staff for the family business for about a dozen years and got the opportunity to farm the grapes and plant the grapes and make the wine and produce the bottles and all of that stuff. So I really have I like to think a fully well-rounded knowledge of wine from seedling to glass.
Okay. Yeah, that's that's actually really, really cool. So what I guess what's your favorite thing? Because like you said, you have a rounded, understanding of how it works, but like any one thing stand out more than the other that it's just kind of your passion about it?
I love educating people about wine, so that is really my favorite thing to do. I was for every step of my wine education, I fell in love with it more and more, and I love to pass that information along to people. So when I worked at the winery up in Monterey County, um, of course, I was there on the ground. I was in the winery. I was in the vineyard getting my hands dirty and so on. But my favorite thing to do was to do tours. And so people would come through the winery, people would come through the vineyard, and I would teach them the processes and I would teach them about the farming and so on. And I really found my passion for that, which, all these years later has now led me to where I am right now with the wine guy. So, teaching people about wine and using my multiple wine certifications and all of my experience in the business to pass that information along to people, I think is a lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you have experience in most things, in the fine dining and the wine, going from working in wineries to being a sommelier. What's something that you would do different today if you had to start it all over again?
Oh, goodness. Um, that is a really good question. I would probably, if I were still in my 20s, I would probably learn more and dig more into the viticulture or the actual farming of the grapes. I never did any proper schooling on farming. I just kind of learn as I did. And of course, I had mentors in the business that were helping me do it and so on. I learned all about sustainability. I learned all about organic farming. I learned all about, soils and I dove very, very far into water. And in California, water is something that we hold very dear because there's so little of it. So using sustainable water practices and things like that. But I would have loved to have gone to school to UC Davis, for example, and learned a lot more about viticulture.
Okay. Awesome. What about like an average client? What's an average client look like that, you're going to be able to go help. You're going to solve a pain point for them.
Sure. Well, I like to think that, in the wine business, there aren't really any pain points other than where can I get my next glass or how much is my next glass going to cost me, kind of thing. So for me, my favorite type of client is someone who buys wine on a regular basis, understands and appreciates the value in wine, or what am I trying to say? Who understands that a great bottle of wine, yes, you can pay $50 for a great bottle of wine. You can pay $10 for a great bottle of wine, or you can pay $250 or more for a great bottle of wine. And someone who appreciates what's in that bottle. I have my favorite clients, if you want real talk, my favorite clients are my wine club members. So my wine club members have access to about 25 different wineries from around California and France, and they appreciate good wine. So I send them quarterly shipments. It's completely customizable, so they can say, "Oh, Nick, this month I really want a Cabernet Sauvignon, so make sure I get a cab in my shipment and things like that." So those are definitely my favorite clients, the people who appreciate what I do and then turn around and appreciate the product that I send them.
Okay. How about professionally networking? What's a good power partner look like for you? Somebody that you can kind of synergize well with.
Well, because I am leaning more towards that travel and tourism side of things, I have been going full on towards travel specialists, tourism specialists. So, travel agents, tour operators, obviously, tour operators in the wine sector. So that could be a tour operator in Napa Valley, that can be a tour operator in Valle Guadalupe in Mexico, it can be a tour operator somewhere in Europe, to get on the ground and add value to trips for wine lovers. So instead of just going and sipping a wine and having a piece of cheese to go along with it, I can be there talking to them and telling them what's in the wine, how the wine is made, where it's from, and why it pairs so well with that cheese, and so on. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. And then so tour operators and then travel agents, people who actually book cruises and trips to wherever.
Okay. Awesome. What about anything that I missed, failed to ask you that you wanted to highlight?
No, I don't think so. For the a little bit, I would love to talk to you for another hour, but I know you're short on time. But no, I think we've covered all of the big points, and again, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. And if anybody out there wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way that they can do that?
Well, I am on all of the socials. If you look up either the Real Wine Guy, and I think you'll be posting all of my links along with the video as well, so you'll be able to do that. But definitely go to my website. It's www.thewineguy, .vin. So V is in Victor, N is in Nick.
Perfect. And yeah, I'll absolutely grab those links and share them in the description so people don't have to hunt. They can just click and talk to you. And I
Awesome.
absolutely recommend reaching out to Nick and having a conversation with him. He's not lying. We could go on for way more about wine. I don't know the right questions to ask because I'm so new to it, but it's really interesting watching how passionate you are because there's a wealth of knowledge there. And if anybody out there is into wine, please get a hold of them. And if you're shy, reach out to me directly and I'll make that introduction for you if you prefer a three-way introduction. But other than that, Nick, I really appreciate you coming on. If anybody out there would like to be interviewed as well, reach out to me directly to my link tree. More than happy to have a conversation. All my socials are there and my calendar link. But Nick, again, I really appreciate you coming on. I can't wait till we talk again. I'll study up. I'll ask some questions that
There
are
you
maybe
go.
a little more specific. Is this good? So anyway, but awesome. It was really great having you on. I hope we all get out there. We meet some more people. All right.
I really appreciate you, Anthony, so much. It was great to meet you the other day, and I really appreciate you having me on. And I look forward to our next conversation.
It's my pleasure. You take care.